Welcome to this explainer. Today we're taking a really hard look at the ultimate status symbols of the modern era. You know the feeling, right? You're walking past a high-end boutique window, you spot that iconic logo, the perfect stitching, and of course that notoriously hefty price tag, and your brain just immediately associates it with absolute prestige. I mean, we're constantly told that when we buy luxury, we're buying into this rich, deep history, unparalleled craftsmanship, and a genuine sense of exclusivity. But today we're going to ask the ultimate question. Does luxury actually equal quality, or is the whole thing just a multi-billion-dollar marketing illusion? So let's contrast the two sides of this. On one side, you have the elegant illusion, basically what you think you're buying. You're paying for the romance of it all, right? The idea of a generational artisan hunched over a wooden workbench somewhere in Europe, carefully stitching premium leather by hand. You're paying to be part of a legacy. But on the other side is what you are actually getting, and that is manufactured exclusivity. It's a brilliant, highly profitable mirage. The entire luxury industry works incredibly hard to keep your focus strictly on that history and craftsmanship, completely hiding the stark reality of what's really going on behind the scenes. Consider this for just a second. What if that item you saved up for, the one you proudly paid $3,000 for, literally costs less than $50 to produce? It creates a bit of cognitive dissonance, doesn't it? We inherently want to believe that a sky-high price guarantees sky-high value. But what if the exclusivity you're craving is actually just a beautifully manufactured psychological trap? Today, we're tearing down the curtain on the global luxury industry. Because, honestly, this isn't just about fashion anymore. It might just be one of the biggest economic scams operating in broad daylight. Okay, let's dive into this. Section 1. The Made-in Myth. Uncovering the Origin Loophole. Right, so to understand how this whole deception actually works, we first have to look at the very foundation of luxury prestige, which is the label. When you see Made in Italy or Made in France stamped on a product, your brain immediately pictures that picturesque small artisan workshop. But the reality? It's often just a massive legal loophole. Thanks to specific country of origin laws, a brand can follow these exact steps. Step 1, they source all the raw materials from low-cost countries. Step 2, they have the vast majority of the bag or the garment assembled in overseas sweatshops. And then, Step 3, they ship that almost finished product over to Italy or France merely to attach a final zipper or sew on a single button. Because that final stage of quote-unquote transformation happened in Italy, it legally earns that highly prestigious Made in Italy tag. So the absolutely crucial takeaway here is that you really aren't paying for the origin. You aren't paying for the generational Italian craftsman. You are paying for a legal stamp. That artisan workshop you're imagining in your head is, in a lot of cases, just a total fiction designed to justify an absolutely astronomical markup. Which brings us to Section 2, the Veblen good phenomenon, why expensive means desirable. Okay, so now that we know the physical origin is often just an illusion, you have to ask, why do we still happily pay these insane prices? Why do we fall for the trap? Well, this brings us to a really fascinating concept in economics, known as a Veblen good. Now, usually, the basic rule of economics is super simple. When the price of something goes way up, the demand for it goes way down. But luxury items, they do not play by the normal rules at all. A Veblen good is a product where the normal rules of supply and demand are flipped completely upside down. The high price isn't a deterrent. The high price is the actual feature. And this brilliantly illustrates what I mean. Notice how the normal rules are totally upended here. As the price goes up, right alongside it, the demand goes up. Luxury brands intentionally keep their prices painfully high. They actually do not want you to be able to afford their products easily. They need these items to be outrageously expensive to make you feel like you belong to an exclusive elite club. I mean, think about it. If they suddenly lowered their prices to reflect what the items actually cost to make, they'd lose their main selling point, which is that feeling of having something nobody else can get. Moving right along to Section 3, Inventory Destruction, the dirty reality of unsold goods. Now, this psychological need to maintain the illusion of absolute exclusivity leads us to a very dark, very dirty reality behind the scenes. Have you ever wondered why iconic brands like Louis Vuitton or Chanel literally never seem to have a major sale? Like why you never see their signature bags hit the clearance rack at the end of a season? The answer comes down to a really staggering reality: millions. Every single year, luxury brands take millions of dollars worth of perfect, brand new, unsold clothing and accessories, and they destroy them. They literally burn their own inventory. It's an unbelievable scale of waste, and it's deliberately hidden from the consumer.
You're probably thinking, why on earth would a company burn its own perfectly good products?
Well, because if a luxury brand sold their goods at a massive discount, it would instantly devalue the brand's prestige. It would completely ruin that Veblen good effect we just talked about. They would literally rather set fire to millions of dollars in inventory than let quote-unquote ordinary people buy their products at a discount. It just goes to show that in this industry, exclusivity is protected at absolutely all costs, even if it means literal destruction. Let's move to Section 4 and see how this all builds up. The true cost breakdown, where your money actually goes.
We've talked about the loopholes, the psychology, and the extreme measures they take to protect the brand. Now, what's really interesting about this breakdown is just how totally visually unbalanced a typical $2,500 retail luxury item truly is. Just look at those tiny slivers for a second. The actual physical materials, that accounts for maybe 40 bucks. The human labor to make it, just $30. But then look at those towering slices taking up all the room. $800 of your purchase goes directly to marketing and ads, and a mind-blowing $1,630 is pure profit and brand equity. The gap between the $70 it actually takes to physically create the item and the $2,500 you hand over at the register is just staggering.
So, when you swipe your card for that new bag or that designer coat, this is what you're actually funding. You're funding A-list celebrity endorsements. You're paying for those massive billboards lighting up Times Square. You're funding lavish influencer marketing campaigns. Ultimately, you are paying for the brand's image. It's essentially a form of high-priced social camouflage. You are absolutely not paying for the intrinsic quality of the leather or the cotton. You're just paying to keep the giant marketing machine running.
Which brings us to the end of our explainer today and leaves us with one final, pretty provocative question. We've seen that luxury today isn't really about quality anymore, right? It's about paying an enormous premium for an illusion of status. So, now that you've seen the actual math behind the madness, how do you view those iconic logos? Does knowing the real manufactured costs change your perspective? Or is the social status still worth the price to you? Take a moment to really think about that the next time you walk past a glittering luxury window display. Thank you so much for joining me today. And as always, keep questioning what you see.